Hi there, Skyward Shield. Welcome to Football Talks. We're still in the preseason, and I'm joined by Bill. Say hello, Bill.
Hey yo!
The second week, or the second set of games for the preseason are well underway. Well, only one of our teams played, and that was Detroit, which we'll be talking about. But we'll also be recapping the Houston preseason game, and we'll
Right.
also be going over two of the NFC team schedules: the Dallas Cowboys and the Detroit Lions. So, Bill, let's start with Detroit. Detroit, they lost to the Washington football team, which is saddening, even though it's a preseason game, because the Washington
Well,
football team should not win anything.
I'll put it this way. Really, the only reason they won was because the fourth string was out there. Oh man, that game was pretty brutal.
Yeah. Um, the Detroit defense shine, just destroying RG3. He actually got hurt.
Oh,
He might have a concussion. He's following concussion protocols, which let's put him always on concussion protocols, so he'll never talk with the media.
I mean, the greatest quarterback in the league, the self-proclaimed greatest quarterback in the league, went back to pass, had 8 dropbacks. He was sacked like 3 different times. He fumbled the ball twice. He was knocked down 6 times. And this is the self-professed greatest quarterback in the league. Better than Aaron Rodgers. And if you can't tell, this is sarcasm alert. Sarcasm alert. But seriously, Robert Griffin III just needs to shut up and play football. Prove to people that you're the best quarterback and then say it. Don't say it and then get your ass kicked the next game that you come into. It just doesn't work.
Well, Bill, I'm at least proud of what the defense did. The defense played really well. Well, the first
My
stringers, the first and second, which
yeah.
which really brings up which I kind of noticed a problem with the Lions now. And Bill, I don't think you know it, but maybe it's kind of obvious. But it might just be me. But I think the Lions don't have much depth in their defense.
I
If you took out all the first stringers, I don't think Detroit's defense will be anywhere close to being on like the top 10 or top 5 defenses in the league.
I mean, I'll put it to you this way though. If you took the second stringers of the Seattle Seahawks and threw them all on the field, they wouldn't be a top 10 defense either. It's more about the rotation and who gets injured rather than uh the amount of people on the amount of depth behind them. Because if you still have 3 good people and you have one that's not so great, but he's serviceable, that still makes you can still be a top 10 defense. Whereas if we're just judging solely based off of teams, first team will always look pretty decent. Second team's always going to look much worse compared to the first team.
Well, unless you're
And
the 49ers.
I mean, to be fair, Washington was putting up points on the third string defense. And I mean, that's nice and all, but if Washington wants to claim it as a victory, but it was 10-0 with the actual starters out there. Detroit.
Yeah. I mean, the backup quarterbacks for Detroit did good too, but I don't know. I want
Or
the thing that worries me is injuries for the Lions, considering what happened last year. Though that was on offense mostly.
I mean, I'll put it this way: the no matter what, every team's gonna have injuries. It's how you respond to them and who you have to surround them with. I mean, Haloti Nada typically won't get injured. So he'll be there. He'll be an anchor in the center. You got a good nucleus of defensive linemen. You got some good nucleus of linebackers and a decent nucleus of safety players and corners. So I mean, I feel like the Lions are pretty in good shape actually.
Some players won't be playing at all, though, I've noticed. Just like with Houston, which we'll be getting into soon. Um, Megatron and Hello Nada aren't playing in the preseason at all.
Yeah, I mean, Haloti, there's really no reason to. He's he's a force in the center. He's a veteran, so why force him to keep him going? You know, and put his body out there on the line. Calvin, you need him for the regular season. There's no reason to keep him out there. There's really no reason to keep Stafford out there. Just to keep him sharp is the only reason to keep him out there. And really, Amir Abdullah, I feel like you can make a case that he's already the number one running back on the team.
Yep.
So,
I think what they want to do is test him out against Joique Bell. They put them both on the field at once and
I mean,
determine who goes.
so I feel like they're in a good position, and I feel like losing a preseason game gives them a good taste of what losing feels like and what what you don't want to feel in the regular season. So that's a good thing that they lost. At least they didn't go 4-0 in the preseason and say, "Oh, well, we can get cocky now. Now we can start the season and then go 0-2."
So who do they play next? Because I think I'll be able to watch that game. Like
I
it'll be
have
on.
no idea.
It'll be again. It'll be on TV for everyone to see. Same with Houston for week 3. I mean, not this week for whatever.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up. Wow. Blech.
Well, I guess I'll move on to Houston then. Anything else to say about this game, Bill? Because
I'm
Abdullah was
I'm look.
quiet. Abdullah was really quiet.
Yeah, he
They
only had
conserved
two.
him.
He only had 2 rushes for 7 yards. It was really a quiet game. The next, what's it called? Preseason game is in Jacksonville.
Oh, you're gonna play the Jaguars. Okay, you'll shred them with the first stringers for sure. I honestly don't. I think people are overhyping Blake Bortles with the way. I mean, I would be part of it if only their offensive line got better, because I think their offensive line is crummy. And then to
Yep.
top that off, I think Julius Thomas got hurt. That's not good because
Yeah.
that had to be their number one guy. They needed him. That's
Yep.
and now he's not there. So, I mean, granted it's preseason. I think he's expected to return for the regular season, so no big deal, but still, for the sake of Blake Bortles getting better, it would be really nice to have him help out. But anyway, we'll move on to another team in the AFC South. That's Houston. Houston played the 49ers, and Brian Hoyer has a clear head start. Oh, Brian will never say who has an edge. He's never going to say it. Even if, say, Hoyer completely bombed the next game and Mallet got every throw and 2 touchdowns, he's still going to say it's close. He'll never admit it. Because that's how he is.
Right.
That's just how he is.
The
But
Patriot way.
yeah, he'll never give you an answer. But anyway, so Hoyer went 2 for 4, got a touchdown pass thanks to Cecil Shorts being a poor man's Deshaun Jackson and just outrunning the San Francisco 49ers secondary. He ran what 40 yards for that touchdown after he caught it.
I think so. I'm not sure. I didn't really see the game, so I'm not positive how long it was.
He
I'm
ran
not
about
even
halfway across the field.
I'm not even sure who won. I'm pretty sure it was Houston.
Houston
Though.
won 20-10, 24-10. I don't know.
Something like that.
Let's check. Oh no, I won't say anymore. But yeah, so Houston won. I want to say 24-10 or 20-10. But yeah, it was a good game. Um, Alfred Blue ran pretty well, and you saw Chris Polk. Honestly, I want them to make Chris Polk a tight end and not a runner. He can run okay, but he seems a more yards after the catch type of thrower like Cecil Shorts. And if you could make him a better run blocker, I would move him to be a tight end because sure, C.J. Fedorowicz caught that good touchdown throw by Arian Foster against the Ravens last season, but don't I don't think he's that good, or he won't improve that well. Garrett Graham, I don't know, maybe. I can see
Garrett Graham,
might.
I could see him developing into something.
Yeah, but as things stand now, I would rather have Chris Polk become a tight end. But I don't know, depending on how his blocking skills are, I don't know where those stand. The Eagles cut him, but then again, Chip Kelly cuts anybody he thinks won't fit in his scheme well enough, even if ever slightly. But that's just how he is, a wannabe Belichick. But Mallett went 10 and 11. He went 10 and 11 for throws. Didn't get a touchdown, though it wasn't his fault. Though I said he should have. I say he should have threw it. There was one drive. They had about 10 tries to run into the end zone, and they could not.
Oh yes, I remember seeing that.
It was horrible. It was they were supposed to kick a field goal the first try, but then the what do you call, the 49ers got a flag on them, so they got a new set of downs, and they were on the 1. They could not get that 1 yard, and they had to kick a field goal. I wouldn't blame Mallett, because you didn't ask him to throw, and I swear, if that's part of Bill O'Brien's reason to not pick him, it's like, oh, he couldn't get that touchdown in the preseason game. That wasn't his fault. You didn't tell him to throw it. So
I mean, the other thing is that you can't really base that decision off of, because he's playing with a bunch of second team players anyways.
yes, so now for this next game against the Broncos, which in my opinion is going to be a big test, because if Mallett can do the same as Hoyer and maybe a bit better, he might have a shot. Because sure, O'Brien will say, oh, this is a great football team. He's going to say about all the teams. He said it about the Raiders last year. He said it about the Jaguars last year. Says it about the Titans too. But they're not good teams.
Right.
He'll say they're all great teams. But let's be real.
Yeah.
The 49ers are not going to be a great team this year. It's Kaepernick has, out of all the quarterbacks, he has the most. He has the most on his shoulders. It's him against the world, basically.
I mean, they got rid of Alex Smith, who is now successful in Kansas City, and you get stuck with Colin Kaepernick.
No Frank Gore.
Who, I would argue if they was stuck with Alex Smith, the San Francisco 49ers could have won a Super Bowl.
Maybe. I don't know. Imagine if they switched, but yeah. So, but sticking with this game, the other guy I want to talk about is Tom Savage, because last year he played against the Colts on that late season game. He was basically a deer in the headlights that whole game. But seeing him in this game, it was against the third stringers, but man, he played very well, because you could tell he completely changed from the deer in the headlights to a guy in control. He led the Texans on 2 scoring drives, a touchdown and a field goal. He got the touchdown to Jalen Strong, which I'm glad. I want Jalen Strong to get the third wide receiver slot job again over Nate Washington.
Right.
And if he keeps getting touchdowns and making good plays like he had against the 49ers, I can see him maybe stealing the job. But he has a lot to prove, even though some NFL scouts say he is a steal for Houston and a late first-round talent. Usually your first-round picks tend to play with the main team, right? Typically.
Right. Yeah.
So I would expect him to do it. I would expect him to play, but for sure you'll see him towards the end of the season. but I'd like to see him at the beginning to pick up some steam. But we'll see about that. But the one play I showed you it, Bill, Tom Savage breaking away from three 49ers who all got a hand on him, broke free with some Romo-style Houdini magic, and ran for nearly a first down. It was so close, though. Really, you could have put. I think
I
O'Brien
mean,
could have challenged that, but he wasted a challenge a long time ago in that
yeah,
game too. So
he was very. Savage was pretty shifty.
I
You
think he
know,
went 7-11. I don't know. I know he got seven
I'm not
throws, one
sure.
being a touchdown pass. So I don't. I'm kind of on the Savage hype train. I would like
Huh.
if he became the starter over Hoyer. Hell, either of
Oh
them I
yeah.
think will be better. I mean, at first I was thinking, okay, Hoyer might be better than Savage because Savage played the way he did against the Colts, the deer in the headlights. I didn't think he has a long way to go, but a year did him well, especially
Oh
when he
yeah.
gets in the game on his own volition and not again being, oh, I gotta play now like Michael Vick. He's like, oh, I wasn't
Yep.
ready to play, even though I'm the second quarterback.
Right. I mean, it, last year was a horrible year for Savage, but with time comes experience, and I feel like he's well on his way to learning. Rodgers sat behind Favre for like 2 years and learned the position, and he turned into a great quarterback. Too many times nowadays, you expect, a Matt Ryan like player,
Wait,
and
What was Matt Ryan not a first round pick?
no, Matt Ryan was a first round pick, but he was a first round pick that had success and went to the playoffs. Really, every team that has a first round or a second round or a third round pick that's at quarterback and needs a quarterback, they just stick them in there and they're like, "Oh, you can do this," and then throw them to the wolves. And it's
Yeah, and then they
it's
get rid of
not the
them.
way to go.
Oh yeah, and if they don't do well, they get rid of them quickly. Like what I said
And
last
then
week with in regards to Romo, even though everyone gave him shit, and now they're acting like he was good forever. It's like you give the quarterback all the time he needs.
yeah,
That's what you got to do. So for in regards to these rookie, like let's say with Blake, as much as I give Blake Bortles shit, he'll be good in time. I just don't want that time to come, honestly. But so Houston has to play
Jack.
the what?
I was gonna say Jacksonville will eventually get better.
Yep,
It's only a matter of time.
and I don't want that time to come. Same with the Titans, but honestly, they didn't get anybody really that good unless their rookies break out for them. I don't see them getting any better, even
And
with Mariota.
for a while, the Titans were really good in the early 2000s. So they're due for a little bit of a down stretch.
Yeah. And anyway, Houston has to play the Broncos, which I said is better, way better in terms of defense. So it'll be a good test for Mallet, who's going to use all the first string players, including DeAndre Hopkins and Alfred Blue, which he was first and second. To be honest, he played with both because he's a second string technically, but has to play first.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see who gets the job. It'll probably be Blue, but who will be behind him? Jonathan Grimes or Chris Polk or Benny Hilliard, but I don't see Benny Hilliard. Maybe not even making the team. He might have to because they need more running backs.
Oh yeah.
But I I hate saying this because it makes me sound like a dick, but I really want Hoyer to fuck up. And it probably won't happen because I said it. It probably won't ever happen now. But if even
Right.
like I said, even if Malik does great and Hoyer sucks, Hoyer still might get the job.
I mean,
O'Brien plays it
it.
too safe. He plays it. A lot of coaches play it too safe. We'll stick with the older
Well,
veteran guy.
well, not only that, he's had him in New England, so he has a familiarity with Hoyer.
Oh, he has a familiarity with both, but I don't know who was in the roster longer when he joined. That
I
I'm
I
not gonna
think
look it up.
I think Hoyer was there first.
Yeah, but was he there longer? Because he did get cut before Mallet came in. Or at a short time after Mallet came in.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I'm not going to dig up that freaking, the Patriots history.
Yeah, that's for a different time,
Yeah.
a different place.
So,
maybe.
Bill, are you ready? It's time we begin the schedules.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so Bill,
man.
today we are going to go over the NFC teams. We're going to start with the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, man.
Now, I'll read to you the Dallas Cowboys season preview from the NFL website. I didn't get it flagged from them last season, but why the fuck is Rex Ryan on this? He's like on the side, rejoice, it's Madden season. And then there's some dude on the right side who... Are you seeing this, Bill?
I'm not seeing nothing. I'm not paying attention to that.
I'm gonna give you the link to the
mean,
schedule. On the schedule on the website.
No, I'm on the schedule thing now. I see it.
There's
a giant explosion, and there's some guy with a blonde mustache.
Yeah, I just linked it to you, though you already went there. Who the fuck is that? I'll be sure to get a shot for people to know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Some dude.
I know, but okay. Anyways, I was trying to do. Let's read this. Cowboys look to build on 14. The Cowboys will be tested immediately with division matchups at home versus the New York Giants and on the road against the Philadelphia Eagles and old friend DeMarco Murray. The middle of the schedule will feature both Super Bowl... what number
49.
is that? XLIX?
That's 49.
Not 40. It can't be 49. Oh, wait. Yes, it is. Yes, 49. Patriots and the Seahawks. That's not the middle of the schedule. That's still early on. Late season matchups on the road against Green Bay and Buffalo could be key to the boys' postseason fortunes. Alright. So, Bill, I will go first in predicting their schedule.
Okay.
And as things stand, with pretty much all the running backs being hurt in some way, unless they come back, I know Dallas fans are saying, oh, but the offensive line will protect them. They didn't protect them in the preseason. Don't know if they'll do it now. But anyway, right. So the first game on Sunday Night Football, only because, again, if not for Odell Beckham, the Giants wouldn't get any more limelight. Not that they deserve any, anyway. At home against the Giants, I don't care if they don't have their running backs with the way the Giants have had their offseason with their... I want to say one of their key offensive linemen. It might have been their rookie being gone and Jason Pierre-Paul not playing. I don't expect too much of a fight from the Giants in this game. I'm gonna give them the win. But on the road for Week 2 against the Eagles for Fox's game of the week, no, Dallas won't beat them. I don't think Dallas will, but hey. They might beat him again once Greg Hardy's back. So it's their first loss. They go 1-1 against both division and their overall record. Third week is not against a division team. It's against the Atlanta Falcons. Sure, Atlanta took Brooks Reed from Houston, but I don't see them really faring better. It might be a shootout. It might be a shootout, but I'm gonna say the Cowboys will win, because again, people overhype the NFC South. They butter it up way too much. Then the next game is also a Sunday Night Football, because this is a sign, Bill. NBC is just draining the Dallas hype from fans. Dallas Cowboys will be going to New Orleans. I feel like I've been here before, honestly. Didn't they have a Sunday Night Football game last season?
I'm pretty sure.
I think they did. Okay, so against the Saints, if they were like before where they were invincible at home, I would say it's a loss, but no. Saints don't have a defense either. Really, none of the NFC South teams do. So I'll give them the win. But then here comes the Patriots, and this is all dependent on the This is all dependent on Tom Brady's suspension. If it's upheld still, I will give the Cowboys it because I don't think Garoppolo will win all those games. Sure, the Patriots, which we'll get to next time, they'll beat the Jaguars, but by this point, Greg Hardy will be back, and if he plays good, well, they'll win. So this one's a question mark, okay? But this is because of the whole Deflategate shit, which I don't want to talk about anymore, right, Bill?
Right.
So if Brady's back, it's a loss. But if Brady's here, if he's back, or if he's not back, it's a win. So what would that be? We'll ignore this game, okay? For now.
Okay, so currently you have 3 wins and 1 loss and 1 maybe.
We'll put it 3-1-1 for now, okay?
Yep.
Okay, so next game they have a bye week, then they go to at New York. Now this one I don't know. I don't know. The Giants could win it, but who knows? So, but I'm gonna say it might be a toss-up, but I'll say Dallas will win because thankfully the defense will get much better. Not Rolando McClain should be back and healthy, and Greg Hardy's there. So Greg Hardy's going to be a big impact on their defense because he is a great player, even if he did nearly beat up his wife to death. Somehow got away with it. So it's a win. Then, Bill, the big one. The other Super Bowl team. Dallas will host the Seattle Seahawks.
Yep.
Ah, man. Bill, Dallas beat them somehow last year, but I don't know. I don't know if they'll do it. But you know what? I'll give them... I might give them the benefit of the doubt, but I just don't believe it. So I'm going to give Dallas the loss. Seattle's going to get their revenge. Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
And then comes thankfully their last Sunday Night Football game against the Eagles. I always think Dallas will split with the Eagles, so Dallas will win this one. So I'll give Dallas the win. They'll beat the Eagles. Then, on week 10, they go play the Bucks. It's the fucking Buccaneers. I don't care about Jameis Winston. He's not going to beat Dallas. Dallas will outscore the Buccaneers 30-7. Just get squashed. So there goes the Bucks. The Cowboys protected their homeland. But even though Tampa Bay's in Florida, you get what I mean.
Right.
The raiding Pirates could not win. Anyway, staying in Florida, ironically, they play the Miami Dolphins. This was actually apparently these two teams played each other for a Super Bowl. I don't know which one that was, Bill. Do you know when they played?
No idea.
I'm pretty sure that was when Dan Marino was there. So I'm guessing it was with what?
I don't think it was with Marino. Marino played the 49ers in them, and that was prior to when Dallas was any good.
Okay, so and I don't know, but even though Dallas could go on a hot streak, it won't happen because the Dolphins' defense is good. It'll be a close game, but I see Dolphins winning in overtime. So that's a loss. What's my record for right now?
I think you're at like 6-3
and 1 because that Patriots game is just a mystery.
6-2-1 or something like
Let's
that.
see. They lose to the Eagles, lose to the Seattle. Yes, 6-3-1. They lost 3 games. So
Okay.
Next game is hosting the Panthers, and I would say that the Panthers would win, but I don't know because I heard recently the Panthers just lost Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah, Kelvin Benjamin went down with an injury.
What
Tore his ACL. He's out for the year.
Yeah, and that's like, oh no, the Panthers are definitely not winning the season. So, I thought the Panthers might have had a shot. It was between them and the Falcons, but I think it's clear the Falcons have a shot if they don't fuck things up. But this is the NFC South. Everyone's a fuck up if they keep doing what they've been doing. So Dallas gets the win. Next, against the Washington Football Team for Monday Night Football. I hope to God it's not a repeat and Colt McCoy doesn't lead the Redskins to. Wait, I shouldn't say that name. I never should say that name, right, Bill? The Washington football team will
Right.
will beat the Cowboys. Not this time. I don't think it'll happen again. The Redskins will get trounced, and if RG3's back by then, Greg Hardy will be there to say hello. Every defensive tackle and defensive end will get a shot at. They'll get a hit. Might not be a sack, but they'll at least get a hit on RG3. So
Right.
Washington football team loses to Dallas. Next, Green Bay. As much as I would love for revenge against the Packers, I don't think it will happen. So I hate saying it, but I have to give the Packers the win just because they have a much better offense than Dallas did. Maybe if Dallas still had DeMarco Murray, I would have given them the win here. But it's all dependent if freaking Randall or McFadden or someone becomes the big running back for the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
Next is Thursday night football against the Jets. They host the Jets. And I think the Jets will not win. Originally, I actually had them beating the Cowboys as one of the upset losses because that just has to happen or else you're not the Dallas Cowboys. You lose a game
Right.
that's a clear victory, kind of like Pittsburgh when they lost to the Jets. Ha. But no, they won't lose to the Jets. I don't think they will. Geno Smith will he'll probably be back by then, but honestly, if Geno Smith had all the time in the season, he might have improved, but I don't think he'll get that chance. So Dallas will win, probably 20-17.
Right.
Then it comes to the Bills. And the Bills, it's all dependent who is the quarterback here. If it's Matt Castle, forget about it. The Bills will win. Or the Bills will lose. Maybe Tyrod Taylor, and I don't know about EJ Manuel, but even so, I think the Bills will beat the Dallas Cowboys in a close game.
So you have the Bills winning?
Yes. So, and finally, the Washington football team. Do you remember how their last game with the Washington football team ended, Bill?
I don't remember, but
It was mass destruction. I could check. Let's see. 44-17.
oh yeah.
That we'll get something akin to that at the end of the season. So Dallas will just destroy, and no, they will destroy, murder, and leave no sign of evidence of the Washington football team.
Oh jeez.
But anyway, I will be right back. All right, sorry about that. Had to get. They brought me food, which I won't eat now. But Bill, it's your turn. Actually, wait, I didn't finish. Let me tally what their win-loss is. So let's see how many games they lost. They lost to the Eagles. They lose to the Seattle. They lose to the Dolphins. They lose to the Packers, and they lose to the Bills. 11-5, but it could be 10-6, depending on if the Patriots return, or not the Patriots, if Tom Brady returns, which I think he will return. I think even if they upheld the suspension, they might drop it to 2. So,
Right.
because basically the judge is like, you two reach a compromise. He's not likely going to say NFL's entirely right or Tom Brady's entirely right. He's just going to say, find the middle ground. That's how it's going in the courtroom right now. So, I think it'll drop to a 2-game suspension. So, I think it's very likely the Cowboys will go 10-6 because the Patriots will return. Though one game they might lose as well is again the Jets, but I don't think they will. I think they could beat the Jets as things stand for them. But anyway, Bill, and they will win the AFC East again because if you remember from the last part, I said the Eagles will bomb after they play the Lions and lose to the Lions. They become the Thanksgiving bird for the Lions, and then they'll lose virtually every game after that.
Right.
So, Bill,
All right.
your turn.
My turn for Dallas? Okay. So, I have on the first game when they played the Giants at home. I have them beating the Giants at home because it's home opener, and typically home teams on home openers feel the crowd energy and win.
Bill,
By that same logic, in week 2, what?
I have to stop you there. Remember last season opener against the 49ers? They got wrecked.
I mean, that was a whole different team, and the Giants are
I know, but
not good.
I know. I just find that ironic since we're talking Cowboys here. When are their fans ever faithful? When they're good. But continue, Bill.
Week 2, they're going to play in Philadelphia, and I think the defense is going to get kind of tore apart by that Philadelphia pass offense, especially since it's during the early season when it's nice and calm and decent weather. So I have them losing that game. Then, week 3, they're back at home playing against Atlanta. Atlanta's defense is porous at best, and Des Bryant's going to go off.
I say it's a shootout.
And crush them. And I have Dallas winning that game. Now, that Sunday night game against New Orleans in week 4, I have Dallas losing that game.
Seriously? I think their defense is just as bad.
Both defenses are pretty bad, and I think it's going to be a shootout. And I think, what's going to kill Dallas is them not having DeMarco in that game. I just feel like that could be a determining factor in that game, where they could just run the football and jam it down the Saints' throats. So that way you keep Drew Brees off the field. So I feel that's a loss. Then, week 5 against the New England Patriots when Tom Brady comes back, because he is only suspended, I think, 4 games.
No,
that would be game 1.
No, it will count because the Patriots get their week 4 bye.
Patriots.
That's why I said
okay.
Everything depends on if he comes back. If the suspension's upheld entirely, it's reduced or removed altogether. So,
well, I'm going to assume that Tom Brady is back because I can see it getting settled.
Yep. But theoretically, give me both situations just to be safe.
I'm going to, even with Jimmy Garoppolo, Bill Belichick is that mad genius, and I feel like New England's going to find a way to win with him. And with Tom Brady, I feel he will win with that. So I just feel like the Patriots' offense, again, is something that Dallas is going to have an issue with, especially Gronkowski. All right. So next up is in New York against the Giants, and I have them winning that game. Again, not letting New York really let them go. They're gonna snatch them in, and they're not gonna let their dominance over them go this year. Next up, week 8 against Seattle. I have them losing because Seattle's defense is still good, and Russell Wilson has Jimmy Graham, has Marshawn, and it's just the Seahawks. I feel like Seattle's come out with a vengeance.
Revengeance.
Then, the following week, week 9, against Philadelphia with DeMarco coming back to Dallas, which will prove to be DeMarco really wanting to show the fans what they miss. I feel like DeMarco's going to run wild on Dallas, and Philadelphia will win, because I feel like that'll be a motivating factor for DeMarco Murray to go absolutely crazy in that game. So that's a loss for Dallas. So in week 10, they're playing in Tampa Bay. And I have them defeating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pretty easily, too.
Well, yeah, I said
Uh,
30-7. I still stand by that.
then the following week, they're playing in Miami. And we all know what I think about the situation down there. This is this year's Jim Schwartz for me. I'm sick and tired of listening to how good the Dolphins are, so I have them losing.
Oh wow.
So I have the Dallas Cowboys beating the Miami Dolphins. All right. So the following game on Thanksgiving is at home against the Carolina Panthers, and I have them pretty easily beating the Panthers. It all really depends how good the Panthers defense turns out to be. They were missing a lot of pieces, but the Panthers don't have any
I
offense,
think
and that
I
is
think
going to
that
be a limiting factor.
I think the fact that they lost Calvin Benjamin is really going to hurt. Like, have you ever heard of the Jenga piece theory for football teams? You take
Yeah,
out one
once
player that isn't a quarterback, and they can crumble. Houston's
yeah,
clear is Foster. With Foster, you saw what happened in the 2013 season. So
right.
that was one of theirs. It's debatable, honestly, but I say the Panthers bomb because of him being not there. But continue, Bill.
In week 13, they're playing in Washington against the Washington football team, and they are going to beat the Washington football team pretty easily. I feel like by then RG3 is going to be either injured or has thrown 20 interceptions.
He's already injured, and it's not even the regular season. But we talked about that already.
Then, week 14, they're playing in Green Bay, and this is where they're done wish they had that ground game because you need to keep Aaron Rodgers off the field any way, shape, or form. And I don't see them doing that, so I have them losing against the
Does it
Packers.
pain you to say that, considering it's the Packers?
Yeah, it does. It really does because I'd rather see the Packers lose, but in my gut and in my mind, I don't see how they're going to lose this game. The thing that would have beat Green Bay in the playoffs, etc., was the running game, and it almost did beat them. And to not have that piece there, it just it's not a good
I
thing.
still say it's because of that damn ref. If that was a catch, and if it
I
stood,
mean,
I think they would have won.
Calvin Johnson rule. So I mean,
Yep.
I've been there. I've been there.
It
But
shows how much they love every team in the NFC North but the Lions.
I mean,
Remember that Calvin Johnson rule was against the Bears, right? And if the
right,
Lions won that game, they would have the Bears wouldn't have made the playoffs in
correct.
that year. But continue.
Following the following game against the New York Jets at home, they are going to beat the New York Jets because it's the New York Jets.
They could
I
butter
mean,
up that defense all they want, but unless it puts up points, you know.
it's the New York Jets. They don't even have a quarterback right now. It's
Bill, Bill, I know you're tired of hearing the Dolphins, but really, my Jim Schwartz is every team again in the AFC East, but the Patriots, because the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Bills are like, oh, they're these great teams. They'll easily beat the Patriots now. The Patriots lost
right.
too many pieces. It's like, shut
Uh,
up.
like normal,
Yep. But
So
you got two
we
games left,
we
Bill.
yep. Uh, week 16 in Buffalo, I have the Buffalo Bills winning against the Dallas Cowboys. Um, uh, no specific reason. I feel like the weather is going to be bad, and that's going to be probably one of the reasons why they lose because they can't throw the football. You know,
I would think it's because
and
the shady McCoy.
I mean
I can see him winning.
that could that could be one of them, but I feel like them not being able to run the football in bad conditions could be really bad.
I don't think DeMarco Murray could run past the Bills though. Even if they had him, I couldn't see him beat him either way because that front seven is still pretty damn brutal.
I mean, but at least he could run up the gut and get 5 yards
Well,
and make it 2nd and 5
yeah,
instead of dropping a pass and making it 2nd and 10,
yeah,
and then dropping another pass and be 3rd and 10, and then just punting the football constantly.
yeah. It would be a punt off because the Bills offense can't get anything done either. But
And then
yeah,
Week 17 against the Washington football team. I have the Washington football team losing to Dallas.
Bill, seriously, you're gonna give the Washington football team a
I
shot?
I'm not giving them a win. I would have to be crazy. I would have to be crazy to give them a win. So my final record for the Cowboys is 9-7.
So they lose. Wait, what did they go? How did they enter the playoffs last season? With what record? 11-5. I
It
think.
was like 11-5 or 12-4 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand. But I still say they'll split with the Eagles because I think that's just what happens with those teams. Teams
All
like
right.
Seattle and Arizona and Pittsburgh and Baltimore, you just split it. Very
Right. Yeah.
rarely. If you win both games, you deserve a playoff spot with rivalries like that. But
I
yeah,
have Dallas going 4-2 in the division. So
yeah, just because those damn Eagles. But all right, Bill, we have we have your team, and you know what? It's your team, the Detroit Lions. So I'm gonna let you go, but first let me read this paragraph for them.
yep.
Daunting early stretch. The rule of threes applies to the Lions' schedule in 2015. Detroit faces three tough opponents in the Broncos, Seahawks, and Cardinals in weeks 3 through 5. After a trip to Green Bay in Week 10, Detroit gets a welcome three-game homestand, which includes the Eagles on Thanksgiving Day and the Packers on the following Thursday. The Lions end the season by playing three of their final four games on the road, games that could be critical if the Motor City Kitties want a return to the postseason.
And that's a phrase I never want to ever hear ever again. The Motor City
It
Kitties.
shows you how much they think the Lions are serious for a playoff run, according to
Let's
NFL media.
let's just never say that ever again.
Yeah, we could just replace kitties with something else. It's
Oh
the king
man.
of cats you're talking about. And you're saying the Bengals
Exa-
are a better team? I mean, Tigers are pretty cool, but Lions are the king. They're
yeah.
destined to be king. They just can't wait to be king, Bill. I hope to
They
God.
just can't
Oh
wait
yeah,
to be king.
yeah, you got the reference.
Oh man.
Okay, Bill, you
Yeah.
start us off with Week 1 against the Chargers.
All right. Here we go. Week 1 is uh against San Diego in San Diego, and I have the Detroit Lions defeating the San Diego Chargers. I feel like San Diego's offense might not be as good as it was last year. Everyone on that team's a little bit older, and it's the Detroit defense, and they'll find a way to stuff that running game. So I have them beating San Diego in Week 1. So following that up in week 2, Detroit's still on the road and playing in Minnesota against the Minnesota Vikings. So I have Detroit defeating the Minnesota Vikings. And now this is where it gets difficult for me. This is where it gets difficult. All right. So week 3 on Sunday Night Football.
Finally, a
I
Sunday Night Football, Bill. Finally.
thank God, even though we only get one, but still, Sunday Night Football against the Denver Broncos, I have my Detroit Lions defeating the Broncos and Peyton Manning for a 3-0 start. So here we go. Week 4 on Monday Night Football. I have the Detroit Lions defeating the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle
What?
against the 12th man. Yep.
The
I'm
13th man
saying
is
it
me.
here. Yeah. So, obviously, they start out the season 4-0, and we were like, oh, it's all good. So, the following week, they are at home against the Arizona Cardinals, where they will lose their first game of the year after that challenging stretch, where they will lose the Arizona Cardinals and be 4-1. So, the following week, we're at home again, playing the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, more like toothless bears, because they're missing. They'll be missing Brandon Marshall. The team just isn't what it used to be. So I have the Detroit Lions defeating the Bears. And then, week 7 at home yet again, we are playing the Minnesota Vikings, who will lose again to the Detroit Lions. So, week 8, I have the Detroit Lions against the Kansas City Chiefs in London.
Oh, that's the London game. I forgot that was the London game.
In London. It's a very early kickoff, like last year.
Wake up for
And
kickoff.
we are playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, where we will make it a Wembley tradition of winning very early in the morning and defeat the Kansas City Chiefs. Bye week is week 9. So the team we get after the bye week is at Green Bay. At Green Bay.
Will they do it,
And
Bill? Will they beat them at Green Bay?
the Detroit Lions will defeat the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay, ending this stupid talking point that I'm so sick and tired of hearing. Oh, they'll never beat Green Bay in Green Bay. I don't care. We are going to do it this year. Week 10, we will win. All right. So, week 11 at home, we played the Oakland Raiders. And we will defeat the Oakland Raiders in week 11. Week 12, Thanksgiving. As we all sit around the table, I will give thanks to another Detroit win, defeating the Philadelphia Eagles. I feel like that game could be a shootout, but I feel like Detroit has enough offense to keep up with the Eagles.
All right, Bill.
Then,
Thursday night football.
a Thursday night game, week 13, in Detroit, against the Green Bay Packers, which Detroit will win again. And then all the Packers Nation will be told by Aaron Rodgers to RELAX again after a Detroit game.
It's hard to say that when you lost to that team both times. I don't know. But continue, Bill.
Week 14 at the Rams. After a long stretch of really great play, they will come back to earth and get shut down by the St. Louis Rams defense, and the Detroit Lions will lose to the St. Louis Rams.
Was it the second loss they've had?
That is correct, the second loss.
All right, Bill.
So
Oh man, you got 2 Monday night football games.
the following week on Monday Night Football, the Detroit Lions will be in New Orleans to take on the Saints, who I have them losing to on Monday Night Football. So the Lions will lose 2 straight games on the road, dropping them to 3 losses. So, the following week, at home, the home closer against the 49ers, the Detroit Lions will win against a really struggling 49ers team at that point by most calculations. And then, week 17, away from home, taking on those poor Bears. Those poor Bears who have a really bad defense. We will defeat the Bears and finish the season 13-3.
Nice, nice. All right, Bill. So is it my turn? Do you have any closing thoughts to say for this?
I feel like this is going to be the year. I feel like this is the year.
All right. So now it's my turn. So I'll start, and it'll be week 1 at San Diego. At the beginning, when these schedules first came out, I originally had them losing to the Chargers, but when I look back on it, I think they can pull it out. So I say the Lions will beat the Chargers, and they'll go 1-0. And then against the Vikings, Adrian Peterson back on the field, but I don't think it will mean much. Peterson will get stuffed in the run. And the Vikings will lose, with Teddy Bridgewater throwing a pick 6. Week 3, Sunday Night Football, will be against the Broncos. Their only Sunday Night Football game, but you know what? I'll take it, because it is possible for other games to get changed to be another one. So, the Broncos put up a good fight. It'll be a fun game. Very worth your watch, even if you don't like either team. But the Lions will come out on top, going 3-0. But Bill, on Monday Night Football, they will go to Seattle. But I'm sorry, Bill, the Seattle Seahawks will defeat the Lions in overtime.
Maybe it's just because I want to see them beat a bunch of Super Bowl teams.
Yeah, but man, Golden Tate will have a welcome home as he scores a touchdown against the Seattle Seahawks. But you know what? It's a good game, no matter how it turns out. It will be, Bill, I'll put it this way: it'll go in overtime 14-14, and Seattle will win via field goal, a 50-yard field goal. Anyway. Next game will be at home against Arizona. This one will also go into overtime, but the Lions' defense holds out, not letting the Cardinals get any points, allowing the Lions to get one shot, and they will get a field goal to win against the Cardinals. Also 17-14 for your final score. Now here comes the Bears rolling into the Motor City. It will be a shutout win, the first shutout game of the season for all of football. The Bears will be annihilated, 0-21. So, Bill, so far I have them, what, 5-1?
Something like that.
Only lost to the Seattle Seahawks. Next, they'll host the Vikings. Adrian Peterson picking up steam, but it won't be enough, because as the pass game for Teddy Bridgewater will be atrocious. Not throwing a pick 6 at least, but he'll just miss his shots. Not his fault though, because it'll just then be batted down, because the Lions secondary with Glover Quinn, who I still wish was in Houston, will play a great game. Next, wake up to London, wake up to the kickoff. Lions will be playing the Kansas City Chiefs, and they will beat said Chiefs. So, Lions will be 2-0 at London, and they will have only lost one game so far heading into the bye. But then, after their week of rest, they go at Green Bay. And Bill, I'm sorry, it's not their time yet, even though they deserve it. They will not beat the Packers, they will split it. I said earlier, there are rivalries with teams, you just split it. And they will split with the Packers here. They will lose at Green Bay, even though the weather is good enough for a win. But it will be fine because they will get to pick up momentum again as they play the young up and coming Raiders, who the Raiders have at least won 4 games so far, looking for their 5th one. But they won't get their 5th one here, as the Lions will just destroy the Raiders at home. Not quite a shutout, as Amari Cooper will get a touchdown. Oh man, my throat's starting to wear out on me. Still there, Bill?
Oh yeah.
Alright, so, Bill, it's Thanksgiving week for week 12. And the Lions, for once, are gifted a bird for Thanksgiving, and they will feast on said bird as they annihilate the Eagles in a 24-7 win. And DeMarco Murray gets virtually no yards as Haloti Ngata will just block him at every turn and says no. No yards for you. Give thanks that you're at least on a team that can win, but not anymore, because like I said, after losing to the Lions, the Eagles will virtually lose every other game after. Week 13 is also a Thursday game, Thursday Night Football, against the Packers, in which the Lions will have their revengeance on the Packers, winning a good game of 21-14. Next,
Damn.
they will so what are they? They've lost 2 games?
Yeah, you have them at 2 right now.
Alright. Next,
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Next will be the Rams. And I also say they'll lose because Todd Gurley and Trey Mason will be an unstoppable force. They'll be a great duo, and I think the Rams defense will pretty much put pretty much all offense on the stalemate here. It'll pretty much be 9-3 for the final score. There will be no touchdowns, Bill. No touchdowns. It's a defensive slugfest.
That'll be interesting to see.
Oh yeah, well it's ironic considering at around this time the Rams had a similar situation with the Cardinals. So yeah, who knows? But then they go to the New Orleans Saints, and you remember, Bill, that playoff game when they went to New Orleans and couldn't do anything against the Saints. Not this time.
Yeah,
Not this time.
that.
The Saints suck at home. They're better on the road, ironically. So the Lions will utterly trounce the Saints in a 30-10 win. Golden Tate, Megatron proving to be the best wide receiver duo in football. Then here comes the 49ers, hosting the 49ers at the Motor City. It will be just as brutal, if not worse, than what the Saints got. The only reason the Saints stuck in it was because they had the home crowd, the dying home crowd, but it was still there. 49ers fans, where are they? I don't see them anywhere in Detroit. Too cold for them.
Right.
The 49ers will at best put 1 touchdown, as it's going to be 35-7, your final score. Golden Tate and Megatron getting touchdowns, as well as Amir Abdullah, as he's shaping up to be the Rookie of the Year. And on the final game against the Bears, who are this close, if things go exactly according to plan, they might very well be the first pick of the draft next season.
Right.
And they will lose. I don't know if they'll get the first pick of the draft, because it's between them and the 49ers. Or the Titans, I guess, but the Bears will just give it up. They'll lose 7-21. Amir Abdullah scoring 1 touchdown and then just being on the bench for the rest of the day, hoping to preserve him for when it matters most. As the Lions clinch not only the NFC North, but also getting a first-round bye.
Yep.
So, Bill, I hope you're excited, because I do also believe the Lions will win 13 games, lose 3, and they'll go to the playoffs, play whoever advances from the wild card round.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see where the Lions go, as long as they stay healthy. And Megatron, Golden Tate, best wide receiver duo, Amir Abdullah being Rookie of the Year. If not him, it's Amari Cooper. But anyway,
Right.
I think that's all the time we have for today. Next time, we'll recap some of the next preseason games, and we will jump in to the AFC side where we will go over the New England Patriots schedule, which is going to be confusing as all hell, but let's hope to God that the whole Deflategate shit is settled, and the Houston Texans schedule. Anything you got to say,
Yep.
Bill, before we go?
Nothing comes to mind.
All right, then we'll see you in the next time.